Hi everyone, I'm Gary Lamassa, the new TME here at Pluribus Networks. Thanks for viewing this how-to video on zero-touch provisioning with UNUM. Before we start, I wanted to highlight that using zero-touch provisioning is step one in a three-step process to creating a physical underlay topology. Automated fabric build and automated underlay build will be covered in other videos. To use ZTP, there's some essentials you'll need to have on hand. You'll need management connectivity between the switches in UNUM, as well as internet connectivity. Also, you'll need a PN Cloud account with ONVL switch licenses for each switch to be provisioned. You'll need some information from the switches themselves, such as the host name you want to use, the device ID, and the MAC address. The device ID or service tag, if you're using a Dell switch, is located on the order receipt and the sticker label on the switch. If necessary, you can also console into a bare metal switch and issue an ONI sys EEPROM command from the ONI prompt. If you have a preferred management IP schema, you'll want that handy as well. There are three major steps to using ZTP in UNUM. First, we need to associate our PN Cloud account. Second, we need to set up our ZTP server. Third is provisioning the switches. Here we'll download the NVOS installer and provision the switch, then wait for the switch to come online. Here's a look at the switch we're going to be provisioning. I've consoled in and the switch is in the initial boot state without a version of NVOS installed. At this point, the switch is repeating the same cycle, awaiting contact with the ZTP server. To access UNUM, open a browser, we recommend Chrome, and type in the management IP address. This will take us to our login page where we can enter in our credentials. Now this takes us to the main page in UNUM. As you can tell, we have an empty environment here. Now our first step is to associate our PN Cloud with UNUM. To do that, in the upper right hand corner, we click on the gear button and select License. Then under License Management, you can see the blue PN Cloud button. Click on that. Here we can enter our credentials for our PN Cloud account. Now I'm not going to enter mine since I've already associated my PN Cloud with this instance of UNUM. Our next step is to set up the ZTP server. To do that, we click on the Manage button and click on the ZTP servers link. Now you see that I've stopped my ZTP server. Anytime you make changes into the fields, it's a good idea to stop this and then start it afterwards. Now, I'm not going to make any changes to these fields. Mine are all set. These should all be pretty familiar to anyone in the networking business. If you have questions on what any particular field means, please refer to the UNUM install guide. So I'm going to save, and then I'm going to start the server. Now our third major step for ZTP is to provision the switch. So to do that, I'm going to click on the blue software and license link. Now before I start, we need to make sure we have a software ONI installer downloaded. I've already done this process. I have 3.04 downloaded, but I did this by selecting the blue download button next to it. And I also set it as the default version. All right, so now we're going to click on the blue provision switch button, and this is where we type in some of the information we asked you to gather at the beginning of the video. Okay, I need the MAC address and the device ID. And lastly, we select our license. Now, if you're going to add multiple switches, you would click on the blue Add Next button. For our purposes and for this demo, we're just going to add the one. So we'll click on the blue Done button. Now, as you can see, Spine 2 appears under Switch Entries. And here, under Activation, you want to click on the blue Activate button. Spine 2 activated successfully. Now, at this point, the switch isn't provisioned yet. That can take anywhere from 10 minutes upwards of, I've seen it take as long as 30 minutes. It depends on a bunch of variables like the size of your pipes. It depends on how busy the servers are, things like that. So the next thing we want to do is click on the ZTP host file link. Now here we can see Spine 2 has also appeared, and this little status indicator here where it says provisioning. Now if you'd like to follow along, click on the View Logs button here, and you'll see all the steps that are occurring on the switch to provision NVOS. Now at this point, I'm going to pause the video and we'll pick up again after provisioning is complete. Let's take a look. Yep, Spine 2 has been successfully provisioned and is online. So at this point, the switch is ready for the next overall workflow into building an underlay, which is fabric creation. So I wanted to take a moment and use the CLI to SSH into our newly provisioned switch. This isn't a necessary step. Just wanted to check and make sure that, yes, at this point, as we can see, the end user license agreement has not been accepted, and we are going to be at the default password. So again, at this point, the switch is ready for the second part of the three-step process to building an underlay. It's ready for the fabric creation stage. For more how-to videos and documentation, please refer to the resources section of the Pluribus Network's website. The QR code on the right will take you there. Thanks for watching.